Roses are red, violets are blue, love is dead, and so are you. Let's get into it. Back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well out there, and I just want to wish everyone out there a happy Valentine's Day. Now, you may be seeing this review on Sunday instead of Monday, but still, I want to wish everyone out there a happy Valentine's Day. And what better way to celebrate being a horror fan like myself and you guys out there as well is with a little slasher film called My Bloody Valentine from 1981. But before we get into it, like, comment, subscribe. Join me here. I greatly would appreciate that. Click on the little notification bell. That way, every time I upload a video, you will get notified. You can come back and just see what in the hell I got going on over here. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. I greatly would appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 500 on to 1,000. It's free, so join me here, but I always appreciate you checking out my content, so thank you very much. Now on to My Bloody Valentine 1981. As a matter of fact, this was released February 11th of 1981 on a budget of $2.3 million. Sadly, upon release, it only made $5.7. And this was distributed through Paramount, who just a few years earlier, or a year earlier, distributed a little film called Friday the 13th, which was a huge hit for the studio. Now, around this time, the slasher boom was really starting to kick into high gear. But for some context, in 74, we had Black Christmas, the original, which is an absolute classic. I love that film. I just did a review for it back at Christmas time. You can check that out if you scroll on down through my reviews. And then we had Halloween in 78, which was a huge hit on a little budget. So a lot of people got the idea of, let's make a horror film. Well, Friday the 13th came out in 80 through Paramount Pictures and made a lot of money compared to the budget it had. And Canadian folks up there, Canadian filmmakers, figured we can get in on this too, and they rushed out Prom Night with Jamie Lee Curtis and Terror Train in 1980 as well. And My Bloody Valentine was a trifecta on that in the 80s with Canadian slasher films, and it came out in 81. Now, this film was directed by George Mahalka, and we have a pretty much unknown cast here. They went on to do some other things, but Paul Kelman plays TJ. Now, sadly, this actor just died back in January of an illness. It's very sad news because he is really good in this film. Lori Haller plays Sarah, and she is kind of in between these two guys. The next guy is Neil Affleck, plays Axel, and there's kind of like a love triangle going on. We'll talk about that in a second. This film was actually filmed, a lot of this film was filmed in a real mine. All the mine scenes were filmed in a real mine in Sydney Mines, Nova Scotia, is where they filmed most of this film. Now, in the beginning of this film, we see these miners doing miner shit in a mine, and there's an explosion and 6 men get trapped under this rubble and debris. So there's a frantic search party to find them, and when they do finally they find a bunch of dead bodies, and Harry Warden, who survived the collapse in a deranged state while he's eating some of his fellow miners to survive. Hell, you gotta do what you gotta do, but the guy looks batshit crazy, so he went off to the mental hospital. Fast forward a year, Valentine's Bluff, which is the name of the town where this movie takes place in, which is known for Valentine's Day. Obviously, it's a big deal in this town because it's named after Valentine's Day. And they're having their big Valentine's celebration while Harry Warden breaks out of the mental institution and kills a bunch of people that he deemed responsible for what happened on that fateful day. And ever since then, the town has banned any Valentine's celebration. So fast forward 20 years, we got a whole new group of guys that work in the Hanniger mine. And they're all younger guys, early 20s, late teens, early 20s. And it's a blue-collar town all around. And this is the first time they're going to celebrate Valentine's Day in 20 years. And the whole town's decked out to the nines for this day, this special day. I know, Rich, you don't consider it a special day if you're watching this, but my buddy Rich hates Valentine's Day. But, it is what it is. And they're planning these parties, all these celebrations. And all of a sudden, the mayor, we see this miner with this woman in the mines, and he kills her. And right away you start thinking it must be Harry Warden from the beginning of the film. And the mayor gets an envelope, a Valentine's Day chocolate box with a heart in it, and they think Harry Warden is back. And that's pretty much the crux of the story. This is really a whodunit, but there's also a lot of kills. It's a slasher film at the end of the day, but it's a whodunit slasher film. And because they make you believe it's Harry Warden. This is a spoiler review. This movie's been out for a long time, so I'm not holding back here. So if you've never seen this film, I'm already going to recommend it. Go check it out, especially if you're a slasher fan, and then come back and watch the rest of this review. But if you've seen the remake, you kind of know where this is going. Although in the remake, the killer is a different character than in this film. We get some really cool, gory deaths. Now, I just watched the uncut version from Scream Factory. I got the Steelbook right there. They did a wonderful job on the transfer, like Scream Factory always does. And the extra footage, I've never seen the extra footage until last night. Adds a lot of gore content. According to the director, the MPA made them cut out 5 to 8 minutes of footage, while Scream Factory found the excised gore footage, remastered it in 4K, and put it on the Blu-ray, and it does look spectacular. There's some great gore gags here. Character-wise, I like the main characters. All these actors are unknown actors. There's a few I recognize from later on in their career, from bit parts, but these are all very new actors to movie making. And I think they have good camaraderie here. They seem like they've lived together since childhood and they're old friends and they've been together. Now they work together in this little town that's mostly known for the coal mine. I'm assuming it's a coal mine. I never really say that, but I come from a coal mining town, so I'm assuming that's what this is, but who knows? It doesn't really matter. It's not really important to the plot. I never say it anyway. And some of the love triangle part is TJ had left town to go to the west coast of Canada, and he was gone for a long time. And him and Sarah were a thing before he left. Sarah was absolutely, they were in love. And when TJ comes back to work for his father in his mine, because his dad owns the mine, Axel and Sarah are together. So that's the love triangle in this part. And I do definitely play that up, the Sarah still loving TJ, and there's some push and pull there and some fighting and arguing going on. But it definitely centers around the Valentine's Day celebration. And as more bodies, they find more deaths. As a matter of fact, there's a gnarly death with the lady who owns the laundromat, where the sheriff finds her in the dryer and her face is all melted and her body's all messed up. It's a really cool gore gag, by the way. They decided to cancel all the Valentine's Day celebrations. Well, these young kids said, screw that, screw the man, we're still going to have a Valentine's Day celebration at the mine, because they got some rooms, like a kitchen area and a dining area up top where they can hang out and have a party, so that's where they decided to go. But Harry Warden shows up and starts killing people left and right. And I got to be honest, they do something smart here that other slasher films don't really do. When they discover that Harry Warden's there and they find bodies, the cast that the people that are there, besides TJ and Axel and Sarah, who Sarah went down to mine with some other friends to check it out, the other people actually get the hell out and leave. So they're actually quite smart. Not that everybody does this smart stuff here. Certainly not the case here, because it's a slasher film. So some people got to do some dumbass shit to move the plot forward or to get their ass killed, because some of these people we really don't care about. They're just there for the fodder to get killed. And that's what we appreciate about a good slasher film. And I like this slasher film. I think it's a really good slasher film. But they do get people out, and they actually do leave instead of hanging around just to get butchered. And then TJ and Axel go into the mines to find Sarah and the others that went down there. And I got to comment on one character, Patty, who is Sarah's good friend. Her boyfriend gets killed, and after she discovers he's dead, in a pretty cool scene where he gets nails in his face, and they show it, she totally shuts down. She's not willing to do anything to save herself, and she meets her demise by Harry Warden, or whoever it is, dressing up in a miner's costume and killing all these folks. So that's one character that just totally shuts down, and when she dies, it's hard for me to feel sympathy for her, because she's not even willing to save herself at that point. She just gave up and is like, okay, kill me and let's get this shit over with. And that's pretty much what happens to Patty. But at the end, the whodunit comes up at the end, and we find out that Axel is actually the one that's dressed up as Harry Warden. I mean, in the meantime, the sheriff had found out that Harry Warden had died a year before this. So Harry Warden couldn't have broke out and come back to town to exact revenge, because he's dead. Axel went on a killing spree because when Harry Warden did his original killing spree, Axel was a little boy and saw Harry Warden kill his father with his trusty pickaxe. And when now the town is celebrating Valentine's Day again, he was trying to stop it. And basically he went nuts and started killing everybody. And at the end, he kind of the roof collapses on him down in the mine. And there's one last kind of screw you to Sarah and TJ and the townspeople, where you can see Axel's arm and Sarah's like grabbing for it, like, come on, we got to help him get out of there. And he grabs it aggressively, and then we see him cutting his arm off with a knife, and then he crawls out, and I can hear him, and he's screaming about how he's going to take revenge on the town and this and that, and he's laughing manically. And that's the end of My Bloody Valentine. What do I like about this film? The setting. I love the setting. I grew up in a small coal mining town. By the time I was born, the mining part of it was kind of gone, but the after effects of it were still there. So I dig the setting, and they really do. Well, they shot it on location like a lot of these low-budget films did, and I love the setting. I actually like these characters. Now, not all the acting's the greatest, but our main cast here is pretty good, considering they're inexperienced actors. I think George Mahalka does a nice job with the directing. Definitely a lot of handheld shots, a lot of shots setting up the town. You get to know these people, and I do believe these kids or young adults are in love. Like, they actually seem like they're happy to be together and hanging out with one another. So the cast definitely had some really good chemistry for such a film of this type. Because some of the films, even like some of the Friday the 13th films, I didn't believe that some of these kids were friends in those films. This one, I actually believe these people liked hanging out with each other. Besides our love triangle duo who had some friction between each other. The gore effects are amazing, especially in the uncut version. There's some great gore gags. So if you have never seen the uncut version, seek it out. It kicks ass. It's a good time. Is it perfect? No. There's a few plot holes. But overall, it's a really damn solid slasher film from an era where the slasher boom was just getting going, and there was many more that come after this. But this is one of the better ones for sure, and it's one I've always enjoyed, and I really did enjoy the unrated cut. It's a really well done, and Scream Factory did a great job with the transfer of it, and it looks great. It absolutely looks great, and it was definitely worth picking up when they had their sale back in the fall. That's how I picked it up. I got a good deal on it, but this is a really cool slasher film. If you're a slasher fan, you've never seen it, it's available on Blu-ray from Scream Factory. It's available on digital. Check it out. Although I don't know on digital if the unrated cut's available. But you can see the R-rated cut. The R-rated cut's, it's a good, fun time. The unrated cut's definitely better because it adds some of those great gore gags back in, and they are great. There's some wonderful makeup effects here. Like I said before, they shot it in a real mine. Some of the scenes that are in the mine, they shot as deep as 900 feet down in the earth, which is pretty cool. They actually had to use lower wattage bulbs because the hotter lamps they normally use to film a movie could have possibly set off an explosion from the methane in the mine. So they had to spend extra money to bring in faster lenses and use lower wattage bulbs down while they were down there. The MPAA raked this film over the coals because they remember a little film called Friday the 13th that Paramount released a year before. So they really went to town on these guys with this film. The director said he had to go back multiple times, and they even got down to just trimming little frames of the film just to make them happy, which it sucks because the MPA was known for shit like that back then, especially in the mid 80s and late 80s. They really went to town on some of these films. But overall, My Bloody Valentine, while not perfect, is a damn good time at the movies if you're a slasher fan or a horror fan in general. I would give this film an 8.5 out of 10. It's definitely a really good slasher film from an era where it was in the middle of the slasher boom. And this is definitely one of the better ones, in my opinion. So yes, 8.5 out of 10 for My Bloody Valentine 1981. Have you ever seen this one? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share this video. I would appreciate that. I'll be back with the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre along with the Platinum Dunes remake and the new film dropping on Netflix very shortly. But until then, I hope you're having a great Valentine's Day, and bye.